You feel angry, and you become anger. You feel afraid, and you become fear. You feel worthless, and you become worthlessness. And in that moment, in the flood of the feeling, you make decisions. You say things. You burn things down. You walk away from things worth keeping and cling to things worth releasing. All because you forgot one of the most important truths the Stoics ever taught. You are not your emotions. You are the one watching them. And the moment you remember that, everything changes. The Stoics made a distinction that most people never learn. They separated the initial emotional reaction, din, what they called the first movement, from the choice to act on it. The first movement is involuntary. You cannot stop your heart from racing when you are threatened. You cannot stop the sting of rejection. You cannot stop grief from arriving when something you love is lost. These are natural. They are human. The Stoics never asked you to stop feeling them. What they asked, what they trained themselves to do, was to create a pause between the feeling and the response, between the emotion and the action, between what happens to you and what you choose to do about it. That pause is where your freedom lives. That pause is the entire practice. And most people spend their whole lives never finding it. Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Viktor Frankl, echoing the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius dealt with betrayal from people he trusted, with the death of children, with plagues that killed millions, with senators who plotted against him, and generals who questioned his authority. He felt all of it. His journals, the meditations, are full of moments where you can feel the weight pressing down on him, the frustration, the grief, the exhaustion of carrying an empire alone. But he never became those feelings. He observed them. He named them. He wrote about them in the dark, and then he showed up the next morning and ruled. He wrote, "You have power over your mind and not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Not power over your emotions. Power over your mind. The part that decides what the emotion means. The part that decides what happens next. That is the gap. And Marcus Aurelius lived inside that gap every single day of his reign. You have power over your mind and not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Epictetus called it the hegemonikon, the ruling faculty, the part of you that is capable of watching your own mind, of stepping back from the storm of feeling and asking, is this thought true? Is this response useful? Is this emotion pointing to something real? Or is it simply the echo of an old wound being triggered again? He said, men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things. The emotion you feel is almost never about the present moment. It is about the meaning you have assigned to the present moment. Change the meaning and the emotion changes with it. Someone ignores your message. The emotion says, they do not care about you. The observer says, they are probably busy. One interpretation produces suffering. The other produces peace. The event is identical. Only the meaning is different. You are the one who chooses the meaning. You always were. Men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things. Epictetus. So how do you actually do this? How do you find the gap in real life, when the emotion is loud and immediate and feels like the only truth in the room? The Stoics had a practice. They called it prososh, self-attention, the habit of watching your own mind throughout the day, not judging what you find, just noticing. In practice, it looks like this. The next time a strong emotion arrives, before you speak, before you act, before you send the message, simply name it. Out loud or in your head. I'm feeling anger right now. I'm feeling fear right now. I'm feeling hurt right now. That act of naming creates the gap, because the moment you name the emotion, you are no longer inside it. You are observing it, and the observer cannot be swept away by what it is watching. You are not the storm. You are the sky the storm is moving through, and the sky, no matter how violent the weather, is never damaged by it. First, keep the peace within yourself, then you can also bring peace to others. Thomas à Kempis, echoing Stoic prososh. You are not your anger. You are not your anxiety. You are not your grief or your shame or your fear or your longing. You are the awareness behind all of it, the one who watches, the one who names, the one who, in the space between feeling and response, gets to decide who you are going to be. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Marcus Aurelius called it the inner citadel, the part of you that nothing outside can touch. Build it, guard it, return to it every time the storm arrives. You are the sky, not the weather. Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today.